Il Dolce Farniente, the hour of your possibility, the hour of pure present. That time of the day that Italian people, they seem to completely dominate. That moment when, by not doing something or actually doing nothing, everything comes out, everything is created, everything connects. One of the Buddhas I have in my studio that a very dear friend gave me, it's on one book that I really like, the Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. And once a week I read a chapter, a different chapter of this book, and I try to analyze it. Tao, the natural order of the flow of nature. Wu Wei, non-action, doing nothing. And Te, the power that comes from doing nothing. Always running, always doing something, working, your job, money, suffering, surviving. Always running, and running away, especially from death. That desperate searching of being who we are not. Living in a universe that doesn't exist, while the real one is outside of our thoughts. It's vanishing before our lives. Changing our way of thinking, we change everything in our lives. Our present, our health, that delay of doing real good things for ourselves. Let's learn how to change this. Let's learn how to change that obligation of thinking, of reacting, of doing. Namaskar, my friends. Here, Devadatta from Dallas. Welcome to another session of Tupodercuatico. I was listening to a lecture by Alan Watts talking about the mind, talking about thoughts, where he says that virtue is no virtue, that the superior virtue is not aware of itself as virtue. It is actually virtue. And the lower virtue that clings and really tries so hard to be a virtue, it is not really a virtue. Because that superior virtue is not aware of being a virtue. So, it is a virtue. While the inferior virtue is so obsessed of being one that at some point it stops being one. A rose doesn't try to be a rose. There's no need. Doesn't try to be something else. A rose is just a rose. We're never enough. We're always trying to reach the impossible. We always try to be who we are not. So, then we are never who we really are. In my case, to be an artist is something so magical. And actually, I didn't even think about being an artist, particularly myself, until I came here. Until I came here to live by myself, with no family, with nobody, alone. And because I was starting to be called, oh, you're an artist, oh, you're a starving artist, or whatever. You see, there's always a title. There's always a name. All my life, I guess I was an artist without even realizing that I was an artist. It's so magical, it's so creative, it's so natural, just because. You don't pretend to be one, you just are. The Wu Wei shows you how to focus in what is possible to control, not in what is not possible to control, not in what you can't control. And you can't control what you're not. So there, you're always trying to be what you're not. And by slowing your mind and slowing down, you create a state of mind full of tranquility, full of peace, full of clarity. And that will help you to go through situations of anxiety and despair. And when you start handling these situations in another way, instead of screaming, I am so upset and I'm so nervous. It's not you, my friend, that makes me mad. I'm mad because of this. You know what? You're mad with yourself, not with the situation. You are mad with yourself because you don't know how to handle the situation. And that's hurting you. So you hurt everybody around you. So when you start handling all this in another way, in a different way, nothing will touch you. Nothing will upset you. Nothing activates you. Nothing will transform you. So that military obligation of reacting, of doing this, of doing whatever, or to be who you're not, to be who they told you that you have to be, to do what they told you that you have to do, disappears. And also Watts says something that I found very nice. He said that we are the universe. Like a river is a river. Two little phrases so fantastically right. And he is perfectly right. Because a forest is just a forest. A lake is just a lake. The countryside is just the countryside. And that's why you love it. The sea is just the sea. And that's why you surrender to the sea and you just dive in and swim. So that's why the forest turns into a forest. The sea becomes the sea. A rose is a rose. If you go out during the night to a park, to an open space under the sky and the moon and the stars, whenever I can, and this has been for years and years, since I'm a little kid, I love when the moon rises, and the full moon rises. So there's a lake here in Dallas called White Rock Lake, and I love to go there because I sit in this deck that's across the lake, and the moon rises on the other side of the lake, and there's a church there. And I've never been close to that church in all these years. I just always see it from the other side, so I don't even know where it is. And it looks like those old farms-shaped churches, like a colonial American church. And it's so beautiful because it's over there, and the moon always rises up on the other side of on the back of this church. So you see the church and you see the big red moon. Is unbelievable. And that moment gives me so much connection with what I have to connect. gives me so much peace. And there, in silence, I dive into that moment and I float. I observe. I try to hear the silence. I become the silence. I feel a cool night and I become the night. And I really feel that light, the bright moonlight on my body, and I become that light of the moon. Watching, observing is the secret. Because when you observe, you completely connect through your eyes, through your view, through your hearing, with whatever you're trying to observe. So you fall into the same energy, into the same vibration, and you become that vibration. You surrender yourself to your moment, to yourself. And by being yourself, you connect with life. And I can assure you that that changes your life. There's something that I practice a lot. Maybe you can do it. I just always try to sit, as I always tell you, sit by the wall with your back straight on the floor. And I cross my legs and I start breathing in and out and relaxing. And then I put my elbows on my knees and I hold my chin I do like a cup, with my palms, with my hands. And I just let all the weight of my body on those hands, my chin, my head falls into those hands. And I stop thinking. Sounds funny, I know. But it's a very positive thing to do that you can practice every day. Just being. Only that. Feel the weight of your body in your body. Eckhart Tolle says that of all the addictions of this last century, the meanest and the worst of all is thinking. We can't stop thinking. It became like a sense, of ourselves, and we cannot separate. Looks like we can't separate from it because it's too root deeply inside of our being. But you know what? When I stop thinking or try to, but it's not trying, it's just you do it or you don't do it. When I stop thinking, I am. When you stop thinking, you are. You became yourself. You become yourself. You live. You experience. You enjoy. You breathe. You rise. And the more you try not to think, you think. The more you try not to be, you are. But when this happens, you are deep in thought without being in thought. And that thought loses the power that has over you to confuse you, to give you fear, to give you doubts, to manage your life. And when you understand what it is to be present, you just don't think, you are. Presence is a state of not thought, of not thinking. You just are. It's like when I paint, I just don't think, I just float painting. when I design, when I sew, when I'm doing one of the jackets, I'm doing something with my sandals or whatever. It's like I'm just doing it. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just floating in that design, floating in that dream, floating in that moment of joy. My body takes me, my hands, they take me to this space of not being. Because if you're always thinking and thinking about something, let's say as extra thinking, I know this, one of my students always so worry about things, so extra worry about what's going to happen, that you see his life is just disappearing before his eyes. Because he's living a life, what's going to happen in 10 years, in 5 years, what's going to happen to my son if I die? But you are here now and you're not dead. And you're wasting this time alive with your son because you're thinking of something that maybe will never happen. You get anxious, you get sick. And I'm telling you this also because it happened to me. Thinking about something one time after the other. And you get depressed and you get so into this panic mood, no? Into this moment of fear. Because your mind, when you're thinking, tries to escape from the peace of the present. So that's why I try with this kind of meditation to sink within, to sink into myself. It's like diving into a swimming pool. You just do it. You just dive in and you feel the water. You're not thinking about anything. You're just doing it. And you feel that water embracing you and refreshing you. I sink into my own space. I am in the present without feeling the present. I vibrate and I breathe through my present. In the morning I prepare my coffee. I don't really drink coffee. I drink something called mate. It's from Argentina. And I just prepare it. It's not even that I'm doing that automatically. It's not about that. It's about doing it with such an amount of joy that you are like writing that moment on paper. I drink it without drinking it. I look around me without looking around me because I'm really feeding myself with whatever I see. I feel the sun inside of me. I feel the cool breeze through the windows hugging me inside of me. I feel that I'm breathing inside of me. It's like you're starting to see without any concepts. It's like when you're listening, you don't listen. You have no thoughts. You only have the moment, the present moment, the presence, your presence. And if I stop talking now, you were feeling me. So that presence is still there, maintained there. Without feeling it with any kind of thought. What is he saying? Is he going to continue talking half an hour more or 5 minutes? No, you're not thinking that. You're just floating with me in this moment. You're not dominated by thoughts that only are trying to get your attention. So that's when the thoughts can appear, but you're not paying attention. You let them go by. It's like when you are in a station, train station, and the train passes by, and you're just you're reading a book, you're talking with somebody, you're just there, standing there, and the train passes by. And you're not looking at the train, but you see the train. When I'm talking to you right now, and I'm trying to reach you through my words, through my feeling, the important thing is not that you understand semantically what I'm saying, but yes, what you feel, what I make you feel, what I tell you. It's like when you're going to a museum and you're with this guy in Rome looking at paintings, and you have a guy that talks like a machine and doesn't know what he's saying or she's saying. And it's not what they tell you about that piece of work, that piece of art. It's not about the price, it's not about the value, it's not about the quality. The only important thing of that piece of art, it is what is making you feel just by being there watching it. When you learn to live in your present, you learn not to demand anything from anything, to ask nothing, to expect nothing, judging nothing. That beautiful simplicity of living your moment makes you who you really are. And you are everything. You are God. Namaskar, my friends. Here, Devadatta from Dallas. Early morning of August 9th. Lots to do these days. I'm preparing myself for going to that show in Las Vegas, which I've been invited. And again, I want to thank you very, very much. I'm just adding the English part in my YouTube. But I already got to have 1,000 people following me, and that for me has been such a lot of work, believe me, a lot of work for the last 3 years. So thank you very, very much for everyone. And leave a comment if you can, because everybody that leaves a comment during the month of August is gonna participate in this contest, and I'm gonna give a present. And I wish you a lot of luck to all of you. So infinite peace of mind to everyone. Infinite silence in your mind to everyone.